Welcome to Keyframers, the animated, collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, also known as David K. Piano.
Together, we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, we'll be creating an animation from scratch live using HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. Maybe. We'll see.
We shall see. Keyframers is made possible by your support. You can get special shoutouts as we stream by pledging on Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, or donating at streamlabs.com/keyframers.
Yeah, we'll also be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So reach out in the Twitch chat or in the YouTube comments that I never read. I read the Twitch chat, though, so...
Yes, we have the Twitch chat up, and the Twitch chat also appears in the actual stream. So it's a great way to have you guys participating along with us, and we'll answer those questions as we go. How's your week been, David?
It's been all right. How's your week been?
Pretty good actually. Yeah, slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
Was able to get some code pens out this week.
Really, I've got none out. But I did manage to catch MS Build has been going on, and so has Google I/O. So two really big events going on this week.
That's right. Yeah, some nice announcements coming out of that. Anything exciting at MS Build?
Well, one of our big projects, Visual Studio Live Share, has just been released for public preview, which is pretty awesome because that's exactly what we're doing in CodePen, except right in the comfort of your own editor, Visual Studio or VS Code.
Well,
and I'm not being paid to say. Well, actually, I'm technically being paid because I work there and I work on the team. But yeah, it's a thing that you should all check out. Visual Studio Live Share.
Yeah, when I've tried it out, it's been very nice to use, and the beauty of that is you get all the code collaboration like we do in CodePen, but it's your own file system basically. So all your node modules, all those Git commits, and everything else, it's all happening locally. So it's
yeah, and maybe we'll work on a few animation libraries in the future.
Yes,
with that.
Yes.
Much easier to do it there than to do it in CodePen, even though I love CodePen for actually making the animations.
Yes.
So
nothing like just getting down to the animation side of things. Well,
yeah. So speaking of which,
yes, what are we working on today, David?
All right. So this one is a bit different than what we've been usually doing, but I wanted to get into a real like a very user interface, small component sort of thing. And so we're doing this, it's a search input thing. And so it has a combination of different things.
Get that link in the chat and I'll pull it up here. Let's see what that looks like. Hey.
In essence, it's a growing search input field where you click and it sort of transforms and gets wider, and then you could put your search terms in it.
Yeah, this is called Searchbox by Fabio Oliveira, I believe is how you pronounce that. And yeah, it's just something we found on Dribble that's quite rad. Now, he says this is an SVG animation. Do you think we'll need to use SVG here?
I don't think so, actually. And there's a good reason why we're not going to use SVG, but we'll get into that when we get further into the pen.
Yes. Let me see. Let's break it down a little bit here. Go over to our favorite extension, GIF Scrubber, and take a little bit slower of a look at it. So we've got the start state of this kind of search icon, a little magnifying glass, and then the line comes up inside, splits, and becomes an X to close it out or clear, one would assume. And then it bounces right back into the search icon.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And so this actual area is going to be the text input field. And that should be pretty rad.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's see. Should we get right to it then?
Yeah, let's get right to it.
All right. Well, I'll switch over to CodePen here, where we have just the tiniest bit of setup that's happened.
Yeah. And we're pretty much done. I mean, no animations, but
Who needs it?
yeah, who needs animations? It's not like we're doing a show about animations completely.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a core with what we want to start with. You know, a nice input type equals search. By the way, if you didn't know that type equals search is a thing, it is a thing, and it's a very useful thing, especially for accessibility. So when you're doing search inputs, avoid like type equals text. Instead, type equals search. It's a search input, right?
Yeah, and there's quite a few different input types. I highly recommend getting familiar with them and the benefits that come with them. Most of that is going to be on mobile, where you get specialized keyboards for like input type equals number or input type equals email or phone. Those will all kind of be determined or determine the keyboard that comes up whenever that is selected.
Mm-hmm. All right, so thinking about how we're going to do this, the easiest way is to animate with, but I don't want to animate with. I really don't.
Nobody does. Well,
No,
I mean, we all do, but
but it's not performance. The browsers, they don't they don't optimize for that.
Yeah.
So
well, and why is that, David? Why is animating width such a problem for performance?
So it's a problem because when you're animating with or animating any other layout properties, what the browser is doing is it's adjusting the dimensions of it, but then every time it adjusts it, it has to figure out what will this affect on the rest of the page. Because, you know, when you stretch something, it could push other elements to the side or push things down or affect the content inside of it, which doesn't apply here since it's an input. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of style recalculation, and this takes time. And when your browser is, trying to run at a nice smooth 60 frames per second, that time adds up. And so, like, if your browser is taking way too long to figure out what the position of everything should be, then it's going to cause jink. It's going to cause jink because it's missing that 60 frames a second deadline. And so if you do the math, 60 frames a second is around 16.6666666667 milliseconds. And that's a very short time. You don't have too much time to work with there.
That's right. Yeah, anything that's going to trigger layout like width and height and margin, padding, all of those things, they affect more than just that element. And so the browser just really has to churn those numbers out in regards to what everything else on the page needs to do. So what do we do instead here, David?
So instead, we're going to be using, it's actually a pretty well-known, or well, not really in the web world, but more like the gaming world and stuff like that. It's called the 9-slice technique. And so what that is we slice up whatever we're animating in terms of layout into distinct sections. And so over here, we're only slicing it into 3 sections. So you could think of it as a sandwich, right? Where the ends of the search input, the rounded ends, those are like the bread parts of the sandwich. But whatever goes in between the sandwich, that could stretch and do whatever. Our goal is we want to keep those slices of bread at each end the same dimension. We don't want them to grow or shrink. We only want whatever's inside the sandwich to grow or shrink.
That's right. If you've ever used border image in CSS, it's based on the 9-slice technique, I believe, where you have these distinct sections. Some of them scale and some of them do not. I think you have quite a bit of control over it with with border image. But we'll be doing something a little bit more than border image here. And I pulled up a beautiful graph while you were talking, showing the 9 slices, kind of a tic-tac-toe board look.
Great.
All right. So what you've done so far is changing the appearance of the input to none, making it transparent so that nothing shows through, and given it a border on the top and bottom.
Yeah, so pretty simple setup so far. I accidentally shrunk this. But I'm putting the search input inside of the search input wrap. And that's because we are going to be using a technique that we learned in previous episodes, which is the, what do we call it? Sliding layers, sliding doors, whatever we call it.
Yeah, sliding layers, I think is what we mostly refer to it as. And that's just where we're basically using transform translate to move overlapping layers at the same time, or child layers as the parent layer is moving.
Right. So let's see.
All right.
So, sorry, go ahead.
You've wrapped everything in a search input wrap, and yep, that's what I assumed was about to happen. Hey, how are you getting those nice little expansions there?
Oh, you caught that. So that's
is that part of Emmet?
Emmet. It is, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Let's see if that was correct. Anyway, so I'm going to on this wrap, I'm going to add a before and after, and so these are going to represent. Whoa.
Don't
yeah, so those are going to represent the edges, the ends of the search input. Great, this is exactly what I wanted. Whoa.
Don't worry about it.
You're really having some fun with this one. Okay, this is more what we want.
Yes.
However, oh man, this is confusing. The input is not the same height as the rest of the damn thing.
Yeah, align items, stretch to the rescue.
No?
Display block.
Oh. Okay, so inputs have always been weird with this, and I think I might know what's going on. Let's see.
So one of the things I changed up above was setting the font size instead of just the direct height, and then giving it a height of 1em. That might need to be 2em or something like that. That's probably it.
All right, so I got an idea for this silly little search input thing. What if we just give it an well, actually, hold on. Am I even giving it that 100% height? No. All right, so let's give it an explicit height and see what happens. Weird. Okay, and then let's give each of these an explicit height of 10 viewport height units. Wow, this is really weird. It's almost as if, you know what? It looks like the input is doing like a content box sort of thing, while the rest of the stuff is doing like a border box sort of thing. And I don't know why.
Did we reset box sizing? Yes, we did. Oh, you didn't also set box sizing on the before and after?
Oh, man.
Maybe?
I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so now for those before and afters, I could get rid of this position absolute because we don't need them. All right. And Yeah, Shay made this nice little circle, I guess. I don't know what that's about.
So yes, I was not finished with the border radius there by setting the border radius to 1em, 0, 0, 1em. That sets the top left and bottom left corners there. If we copy this and set that for after.
Well, one thing though, with each of these are like C's, but they should really be like half circles, because if you look at the animation, it collapses into like a complete circle.
That's
so
right.
we might need a...
Yes,
wow, magic.
Yes, I adjusted the width there as we went.
All right, cool.
Let's see. Okay, so why... Oh, you've got the height down there. 2em. There we go. Okay.
How did you fix the height there?
You had height set as the viewport height unit, and I'm actually using the viewport width for the em size up at the top there.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully this is making sense so far.
Yeah. So this is our CSS setup. And just to clarify what we've done, I set the border color to red for the input, and so that's showing that there's 3 distinct parts. This is not just one input, it's 3 parts right there. Yeah. So that's what that is.
Yes. Why is our search input so wide?
Is you rather padding?
Well, yes, but what is the HTML attribute for how long a field should be? Is that width or?
That's a good question.
HTML input. I'm looking this up live. Let me see.
So Notorious B1T asks, does an input search have some quirks? And I'm sure it does.
Yes.
None that we've run into so far, or at least we'll pretend we didn't run into them.
Yeah, if we pull this up on iOS, I'm sure there will be some issues we'll have to get around. But for pattern placeholder required size, that's what it is.
Size,
default size is 20. Let's do size 15. Feels a little bit better. Right. It's looking cool.
Okay, cool. So you made it a little bit smaller by setting the size, which I guess that denotes like how many characters can fit inside.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
it's not how many characters can fit inside, but how many characters wide the input field should be.
That makes sense.
There's other attributes that determine how long it can actually be, which we won't really worry about for this. Okay.
Right.
All right. So you've added some data states here.
Yeah. So we're going to have 2 states when the search is open and the search is closed. And so I'm thinking when the search is closed, then we need to make the middle part. Remember, we're not changing the width, but we need to make it so that it stays the same width, but it doesn't really affect the like it collapses on itself. And so one way I was thinking to do that is making this. Let's do the wrap position absolutes. Now, by doing it position absolutes, and I'll just make it closed to illustrate, it should keep it in its exact same place. Which, you know what? Hold on. It should go on the search input. Okay, cool. So did you see what happened?
I do see that.
All right, so here's the funny thing with position absolute. It is relative to the parent. However, if you do position absolutes on an
let me
element,
stop you there. Position absolute is not relevant relative to the parent. It's relative to the
well,
offset parent, which in this case, because you've set everything to position relative, is its direct parent.
exactly, which is why I like doing it. So she's just calling me out on my sins. That's okay.
Just wanted to clarify for those following along at home.
Right. Don't want to mislead anyone. You got it. But anyway, so without any other like top zero or left zero or anything like that, it's just going to stay in the same place. However, it's not going to take up any space in the layout. So that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
And so now let me just add a quick thing to toggle between close and open. And so we're just going to do this on the body click, or no, the search click. So let's search L, or sorry, I think we remember in previous episodes we're going to make it L search. Documents.query select.
For our Spanish-speaking friends out there.
Well, that would be La Búsqueda, but we're going to make it L search. Okay. So then we could do an L search dot on, or add event listener click. And then, so we want to toggle between like closed and open. So just going to make it really quick machine. So open, click, closed. So if it's open and you click, it should be closed. And if it's closed and you click, it should be open. And let's see.
And there are 1,000 easier ways to do it.
Oh yeah, there are, like doing if then or whatever, but I like this way. Let current state equal, well, it's going to be closed at first. And so, I mean, we'll make this easy. We're not going to make it too complicated like we did in previous episodes. But when you click, you could say the next state is the machine's current state, and that click events. So that'll just map directly to what the next thing is. And then that's current state equals next state because we're changing the state. And then L search dot set attribute as states. We're going to set that to the current state. And so now if you click the search, nothing happens, which is good. All right. Data state equals open, data state equals closed. Oh, wait, I'm doing let. Oh, man, I made this mistake before. Now it works.
Hey, there we go.
So, yeah. All right, so that's basically what we want to have, but we sort of have to do the whole really hiding the search fields type of thing. And to do that, we're going to be using sliding layers. So let's get right to it.
Now, not to burst your state machine bubble, but is there a reason we don't just look at the focus state of the search box?
I guess we could do that.
I mean, either should.
But let's do that. I don't even know why I use the state machine thing, but instead of these data state open and data state close things, we could just do. We could use focus within, right?
Well, yes. Now, let's do a quick caveat of what browsers that will actually work in. Chrome 60, no Edge, Firefox 52, no Internet Explorer, and then other browsers. So focus within is basically the parent selector for an element that has focus. So you can put focus within on the parent of an element that has focus, and it will toggle the styles whenever one of the children has focus, which in this case would be necessary because our input, search input here, is kind of the deepest layer there. So it would have to be focus within. If I change that really quick, we can see search within that. Well, it would actually be standard search, yeah.
Wrong one.
Then search input and relative. Yes, I clean things up a little bit. Just a moment. Okay, and boop.
Right. So now the only not issue, but the thing we have to be worried about is like when we're hiding the search field, we're hiding it completely. So we need a way to focus it when it's hidden completely, and for that we could just use a label.
That's right. Yes.
And so we just have to give the ID search. It's just a random ID.
You actually don't even need to give it an ID.
You're right.
If you wrap inputs in a label, anything you click within that label will focus that input. So
there you go.
These little pseudo elements and everything will all toggle it. Okay.
Cool. Now we'll talk about how to make it transition later, just because since Shay destroyed my JavaScript, I'm going to add more JavaScript in order to do that later. All right. Because we might pull out flipping in order to do this.
I think so.
And so the reason we want to do it is because, number one, we don't know how wide our search thing could be. Like it could be wider than, 15 characters, or since it's a viewport unit, I don't know, it could be a varying width, so we can't really hard code any dimensions there.
So before we get really far, I think we can accomplish this with no JavaScript at all.
You think so?
I think so. There's just a couple of things that we'll need to change. We'll probably need one more wrapper potentially. Let me see.
I'm curious as to.
So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be possible, but we'll see here. So my thought is with translate 100% on kind of this search input wrap. If we move the far right rounded piece up a layer, we can fold them into each other using the sliding layers technique to obscure the input itself while keeping that left edge. We just have to figure out a good way to have the other side move in. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perhaps with
so
negative translation on another wrap.
Yeah, the math gets tricky for sure. And so this is all assuming that this is being perfectly centered. If we wanted a search input where it was just collapsing to the left or to the right, which is common in some websites, then might be a little different.
That definitely makes the math easier.
Don't you know that nowadays it's impossible to do CSS without JavaScript? It's just impossible.
I refuse to believe that. Well, yeah. If you're up for that, I think we can. I think we can get it done. If we want to go
Oh,
the
let's try it.
the
Yeah.
easy route, we can JavaScript it. So I'm gonna say div class equals search
Yeah,
input.
let's try the sliding layers thing, man.
enter, and then okay. So we'll say here. Let me toggle off these focus within states. I'm gonna move them down to the bottom. Well, to this area here, and right, and then our pseudo elements are going to need to break out a bit. Search input inner before, and then search input wrap after. And let's see what we've got there. Oh, yeah, that's looking great. What
This looks great.
what is broken here? I
Everything.
think okay. Search input inner also needs that. There we go. Okay. Oh, did not comment out our.
Hmm.
I didn't comment out the focus within states. So let's remove those. Okay. And search input wrap. There we go. Okay, so we're back to where we started.
Great.
Beautiful. And so let's go back to our default state. We do search input inner, translate x 100%. Translate x -1m. Check that out.
Okay. So then you're going to move the outer layer to the left.
Correct.
Aha,
Search
so
input
that makes sense.
wrap should transform, translate x -50%, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
off center.
translate x 1m. I believe.
Okay, cool.
I believe that math is correct.
Yeah.
And search input wrap. I believe we need to say overflow hidden. And we've almost got it there.
Great.
Okay.
I think you could translate the search input even further than 100%.
Right. The search input itself we can translate over at the same time, and the animation should be quick enough that won't be visible. Let me do the focus within state here while we're x 0, and I know you like to do translate or transform none most of the time, but that often poses a problem for me. At least when doing like animations or trying to transition between the number of a couple of different like transform functions. For some reason, Chrome just likes to wig out for that.
Okay.
Search input itself. We'll do.
I also added a transition to everything just so we could see it.
Oh, cool. Transform, translate, x1m. Okay. Whoa.
That's a little funky.
Yeah. Okay. Why is that happening? Oh, I know. well, I kind of know, but it's at least part of it. Very strange.
Hmm.
Any idea what's happening there?
Let's see, search input. Let's make the animation slower. So I bumped it up to 3 seconds. And so we could take a better idea. Yeah, it's doing some funky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this here, let's take a look at the HTML structure. This search input inner, I think we could do something where we could wait for it to, yeah, Here, let's comment that out, see what happens. Well, that didn't do anything. That's not going to work.
Let's see. All of our alignment is off now as well.
Yeah, so here,
let's see. That's back to normal.
This switch. All right, so instead of trying to move the search input inner to the right a little bit,
maybe we should do the before.
How could we
before translate x
undo that?
-1, and
how do you go back to where it was working but just overlapping?
Just by commenting that, and then 1m, oh, -1 m. There we go. We still get the oddity of the transition.
Okay, that works. All right, cool. Because I'm sort of thinking about there's got to be another way to hide the center part there.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this might require using.
Don't say
another wrap. Oh. No. I'm not JavaScript, but just another wrapping thing. So first, let's figure out why it's overlapping in the first place. Let's see, search input inner. Okay, and so it's because this search input wrap thing is it's still visible.
Hey, Gravity Gaming Co. is now following. Thanks for following. And Sweet. he also, or Gravity Gaming Co. also asked in the chat, have you guys used bodymovin.js? Have you, David?
I haven't yet. I've been meaning to play around with it. So
yeah, one of the animators at my place of business is has given me some files to play with on that, but I haven't actually gotten deep into it, unfortunately. But it is very, very promising.
There's also Lottie.js, which is a very similar thing.
Lottie.js is actually the renderer for bodymovin. Bodymovin is the After Effects exporter, and Lottie is the player of that. So there's like a Lottie for iOS and Android and all that. Notorious B1T is asking, was it the fact that the transform list had a different number of functions? And it's very possible. This is what I'm telling you about, David.
Yeah.
Though now it doesn't specifically have a different number of transform functions.
Although
Gravity Gaming Co. I think Airbnb partnered with bodymovin.js to make Lottie. That's correct. Don't know why that. Okay, it's moving a little bit better right now. Oh, don't understand why it's
Like,
the focus out state is perfect, but for some reason the do we still have the position absolute or anything in here?
I don't think so. And actually, the transition works fine on my end. I mean, I'm seeing it; it's working. So, you know.
Okay. I'm gonna try something really quick here.
Well, I'm going to use pen and paper.
Nope.
Or pencil and paper, if I could find it. But I can't. So. No, but yeah, my thinking was we need another wrapper input in order to further hide like the rest of that, the rest of the thing. So many sliding layers here.
Yes. But the benefit of no JavaScript.
Yay.
I mean, and you know, focus within the browser support isn't amazing here. So you know, if you were deploying this on a real project, you would probably want to set you know, a focus class or the data state whenever whenever a focus event is actually triggered. All right, we've got search inception here.
Okay, yeah, so this is just going to act as another wrapper, right? And so the role of search inception is to move just a little bit to the left so that this search input is completely hidden, if that makes sense,
Okay.
right?
I think I'm with you.
Yeah. So we just have to figure that out.
Search inception, close state.
Yeah, so what search inception has to do is it has to move. Yeah, I think you have the right idea.
Yeah, but that's the same as doing the search input at the same time.
Or hold on. So what if search inception moved all the way to the left instead? Like way to the left, because you know that's what it has to do.
Translate x negative 100%.
And then at the same time, yeah, you're doing it right. So, and then at the same time, the search input moves to the right, and that way it's fully disappeared. By the way, when this is all said and done, I would love to inspect it in the layers panel in Chrome because we could see visually all the sliding layer craziness that's happening here. So.
Okay.
Okay, overflow hidden?
Search inception needs overflow hidden. Are you adding that?
I'm not.
Okay.
You are.
Search inception. Can we do all the work, David? Come on. Flow.
Overflow hidden.
Boom. Okay. And now we need to nullify
translate
transforms. Search inception. Search input. Okay. Now, in theory,
hey, it works.
It does.
Sort of.
It's a little bit weird.
It's weird coming out.
Right.
If you notice that.
Right.
So.
Well, actually, it's weird going to the focus within state for me. Is that what you mean? Because when it's collapsing, it looks perfect, but the opposite way. Now instead for, well, I don't want to do scale transition there. Outline so we can see. I do quick, just removing the outline on the actual search input so I can see visually what's happening a little bit better. Yeah, that's so strange that it's...
All right. So thinking how we're going to solve this. Maybe another wrapper. More and more wrappers.
Wrap all of the things. Okay. Why is that layer being exposed?
Which layer?
So I guess search inception or search input. Because it's invisible when it's collapsing, but when it's expanding, it's showing up. Is that just a visual glitch, or is that...
I'm not sure. So one way that we could solve this, or not solve it, but at least figure it out, is remove the overflow hiddens, just wherever they might be. Just for now, I'm commenting them out. And then let's add some outlines to places. So just do outline pixels solid yellow. Okay, so now we have a more clear idea of what the heck is happening.
Let me add an outline. Okay, I've got a green outline on the actual input itself.
Yeah, lots of moving parts in here. All right, so our problem was that when it was in the closed state and it was expanding, then we immediately got that. Do we have any other overflow hiddens in here? Oh, I think we got them all. This is like surgery right now.
Yeah, it looks fine as we're...
All right, so let's start making things overflow hidden. So, okay. All right, so I made search inception overflow hidden. Ooh. And so as you can see, that's where we sort of have a problem.
Yeah, right there. So I assume this has to do with layering.
Yeah, so whatever, or you know what, maybe not even layering. Maybe it's whatever layers on top is not covering it as much as it should be, if that makes sense. So whatever's above search inception, which is the search input inner,
yes,
should be covering it more. And so for the search input inner, let's find it. Find the guilty party, wherever it is. There. Green, whatever. Okay, so my thinking is, you see where the search input inner is right there? I think it should actually be a little bit more to the right. So we have to adjust the math to do that a little bit. You see what I'm saying?
Not quite. So you think the green should be...
The green needs to be to the right.
Basically with the right centered.
Yes.
The left edge centered in the circle.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
So
search input inner. The problem right there is the translate x 1m. We move that over. That's what's happening, and then I think I know what it is.
Nope. Close, I think.
Nope.
So close, man.
Yeah. So it's still an issue that layer is snapping in. It really shouldn't be visible. is
So
the thing.
this-
There's
yeah,
there's a rendering error happening in
wait,
Chrome.
I think we no. Hold on.
I mean, I don't want to blame the browser, but you know, it's not the code we've written.
Yeah, that might be a case. So let me think. Let's take a step back, or a few steps back rather, because I think we've gotten ourselves into a bit of a mess over here. So let's say that we just wanted to show and hide a single, just the input, like forgetting about the circles or anything like that. Yeah. So I see what you're saying with the whole.
Right, it's snapping into place when it should not be. I'm just moving all of our outlines here to.
Yeah, so we have to figure out what's in charge of, or what's supposed to be hiding it. I think that.
Now we did remove overflow hidden up here. Let's try adding that back in and seeing what happens. Search.
Hmm. All right, where do our semicircles live? I think right now they live on those before and after.
Two different elements. The left one is on search input inner, and the right one is on search input wrap after.
Okay, cool. So I'm pulling I'm pushing the big red button, pulling the nuclear switch here. You see how right now it works correctly, I believe, right? I don't know what other crazy calculations we have, but here's what I'm thinking. This works. So let's go ahead and make those before and afters actual elements that move. That makes sense?
Yes. Okay, so
cool.
Div class equals search input left.
Well, so should we put, since these are always going to be visible, should we put those top level?
Well, the problem is they need to slide with these layers.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. So I'm just concerned that
really complicated.
Nah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, so let's change that to left and right.
This is search input right. This is going to be search input right. All right, let's see how this looks. My codepen's not too happy with me right now. It's showing me the radial gradient screen of death. Nice shade of gray. So something's happening.
Oh, I think I've lost the stream here. Let's get back on. Come on. Notorious B1T says Z index for the win. That might.
Ah, yeah. Well, I mean, in the case of overflow hidden, it wouldn't really do too much.
Yeah.
Is the animation showing for you?
Yes. You might need to just reload.
Yeah. So I reloaded. I did all that.
Hey. Firestorm1014 just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much,
hey,
Firestorm.
Thank you.
That is really fantastic. For those of you that don't know, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you have a free Twitch Prime subscription that you can give out each month, and Firestorm has just chosen to do theirs on our stream, and that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Super cool. Okay, so now that we have these as separate elements, we could change a little bit of the translate math so that everything's hiding correctly. Right, so now we just have to Move these semicircles. Let me find out where the heck they are. All right, the search input left and the search input right.
Now,
so
I'm just going to go ahead and change those to search circle left and search circle right. Just ignore me.
Up, and now they're gone.
Yeah, just ignore me. Okay, I should be back now.
All right, so why are the circles not moving? Like,
well, because I moved the search circle left out. Let's see if we move that in our inner. There we go. Okay.
Well, now we're back to square one with the
circle one.
Yeah. So what's happening differently here? Or, well, rather the same, that we're still getting that overlap to show, which is not cool.
Yeah. Don't know why this.
All right, because what I was thinking was, what was I thinking?
Good question.
One
thing I'm doing right now. I went ahead and moved color up to the parent element, setting color white, and then that way we don't have to actually specify the border color for each element. We can just it'll automatically inherit the hey, Notorious B1T just subscribed as well. Thank you for that. Yeah, that Twitch Prime thing is pretty awesome. most people forget that they have it or don't even know that they have it, and we appreciate you giving that to us this month.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Do color here. Well. Okay. All right. So back to circle one. We have very strange issues happening there.
I'm doing some thinking right now. Let's see.
Okay, let me.
Man, there's a lot of math involved with this.
Yeah.
Sliding layers can get complicated. I think that's one of the downsides of that.
Indeed.
Although it's a really fun solution to implement. Shut your head on me.
Okay. Okay. If you I've slowed it way down, and so now if you watch when it's expanding, the green is snapping over. It's not.
Why is the green snapping over? Yeah, so let's investigate that.
Okay,
let's
so
find out.
The green one is search input inner. And okay, it might be a case of the number of. Here, let's see.
Well, so also consider that search input inner contains this search circle left, which is always showing. And so the part where it's overlapping is also the part where this search circle left is always showing. So,
Yeah, but why is the right edge visible when it's being expanded, and the left edge is exposed when it's being collapsed? Because that's the issue there.
I really need to find a pen. This is one of those problems that takes like pencil and paper, for sure. Perfect. Okay, so taking a step back, drawing this out. And by the way, yeah, whenever I'm working on complex animations like these, I like to draw it out just to make sure, you know, that we have everything working correctly. And it makes it easier to conceptualize too. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so the idea is these sliding boxes. That doesn't need to be. Ah, might have got it. Maybe.
Put, yes. Just cleaning up a few things here.
This is the confusing one. This goes to show you like how these types of animations could be really easy in After Effects or whatever, but not too easy to implement, you know?
That's right. And we are professionals. We do get paid to do CSS stuff, and even seemingly simple things like this can trick you.
Yeah. Or it's like, are you sure you want that effect? Like, maybe let's do something else. But in this case, we're sure because we've already set our sights on doing it. So
now maybe.
Okay, so I have an idea. You keep doing that. I'm gonna do this under you.
What?
That sounded weird, but you know what I'm saying. I just have to make sure that everything is correct. Okay, yeah. And I'll share my lovely drawing pretty soon, if it works.
So
okay.
One thing I'm finding here, if you start toggling and then focus out while that's happening, you get that exposed edge.
Oh yeah.
So some definite weird snapping happening. If anyone has any ideas in the chat, please chime in.
Yep, this is a collaborative thing.
Okay, sure.
Means all of you too.
Search input is display block. Sometimes that can mess with it.
How big are you making the semicircles?
I'm sorry. Search circle left and search circle right.
How wide are they?
1 m each. A total of 2 m.
I just add that as a SAS variable, so. Perfect. Thank you.
Hold on just a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, so what I'm doing here is making an alternative version. We'll see how this works. That one red. So so for this, just to start, maybe let's do an explicit search width. So let's do search width 10 rand, and then the calc search width minus the circle width.
Did you fix it yet?
Oh yeah, no, just kidding. Did not minus, but I have ideas, and ideas are very powerful. Well, that's really small. Okay, 50.
Oh.
That's a little too big. Okay, and height, I'm just like guessing this for now. This is going to be 10 viewport height. Okay, so is that perfectly centered? That's not perfectly centered. Am I missing anything? Does that look perfectly centered to you? Yeah. Oh, it actually is.
I can't tell.
Okay. Or is it? I literally can't tell if it is. Okay, well, regardless. And then I name my classes 1, 2, 3, 4. So to the margin left, and that's the important part, is going to be the circle width. Hold on. Outline, oops, border, 4 pixels solid, not blue, red. Cool. So the left is going to be the, how do I do that? Circle width. All right, so this is what I'm sort of coming up with right now. These two layers are going to be allowed to be overflow visible. And so these two layers, their responsibility is to show the outer circles. And then we have a layer inside, which I will make border 4 pixels solid yellow at 100%. And the width is actually going to be 100% minus the circle width again. You sort of see where I'm going with this?
Kind of.
Okay, perfect. Border 4 pixels solid. Give me a color. Teal. Oh, no, that's a terrible color.
Not teal.
Turquoise, if I could spell it right. Aha, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea, and I'm actually pretty excited about this because I think that this could work, is this 3 layer, that's going to be overflow hidden. And that's the only layer that's going to be overflow hidden. And so the idea is that this 4 is going to translate x negative 100% here, right? And so this 3 is also going to translate x 100%. So just like that. And of course, like no part of it's going to be visible, or no part of it's going to be rendered. So obviously it's showing a yellow line, but there's going to be nothing. Its goal, or its purpose, is to hide the 4th layer. And so at the same time, we need to move the 2nd and 1st layer. Does that make sense?
Yes. Basically what we're already doing. So transform negative 50%. something like that.
All right, well, yeah, let's do here. I got an idea. Let's do the inside one for now. So yeah, and we're going to use the same focus within trick over here. All right, so for is going to be an input, type equals search, and class equals for. And so this input is going to have that 4-pixel solid white border. Right, none. But of course it's hiding right now, so we have to undo that. Whoa, background transparent.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so this 3, let's get rid of the border since we know that that's going to work. Okay, cool. So this is our normal operating state. And so now our goal, or actually I'll make that your goal, is to center it using 2 and 1.
Okay.
But those offsets are important though. The circle width offsets, because we had to have those semicircles always showing.
Right. Okay. So we get those semicircles in there. I think I can the math down. Shouldn't it be 2 after?
Doesn't matter.
I think it does. Oh,
okay.
Your position absoluting.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Border focus is solid white, and border radius. What was your trick for using border radius? Personally, I always just do border top left radius. I do it like the really, really, really long way.
Well, we'll have to do separate ones for before.
Right. Yeah.
For 1 and 2. So border radius for 1 should be 0 circle width, 0 circle width, and then it should just be the opposite.
I'll let you do it.
Should be the inverse here. 0 circle width, 0.
Top, or right, bottom, and then right.
Something like that.
Yep. Clockwise.
Yes.
But we have some error somewhere. Undefined variable circ width.
And another one down there. Got it. Okay. All right.
All right.
And
we're close.
So 1 before needs to be right 100%.
Yes.
And 2 before needs to be left 100%. Theory?
Yep.
And we also need a border right 1 and a border left. Right?
Okay, cool. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet, but I feel like this could work.
X 50%.
This is fun. It's like trying to solve a very complicated puzzle where things are almost working.
Yes, I'm going to change the borders to outline because
yeah, that makes sense.
They're all taking up space and causing a lot. Except for 4.
We still have our semicircle problem, though.
What problem?
where it looks like a pill rather than a circle.
That's because you are using circle width place, or you were using viewport units all over the place.
Oh.
Okay, what's happening there? Not working. Any idea what's happening? I feel like
you made it really big.
it's not big over here.
Whoa. Now we're getting some craziness.
Yes.
What'd you do? Let's see what is going wrong. Oh, circle width. Whoa. How did that happen?
I'm messing with things. Give me a
minute. Ah, okay. This one's surprisingly tough.
Yeah. I feel like missing something here.
Now, so depending on requirements, one simple way we could have solved this if we didn't need to worry about text inside, such as placeholder text or whatever, would be to scale X the inner input.
Yes.
And so by doing that, we could just shrink it to 0.
Okay. Let's see. There's 2. Okay. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Pill problem solved.
Awesome. All right, so now all we have to do is apply our focus within stuff. And yeah, just apply it to this.
So let's search focus within. Form X. All right. Not out of the woods.
Yeah. So I'll fix the before and after, but we have it like right 100%, left 100%. Instead, let's do left 0 and right 0 because I made the width so that they would be inside. Correct. Sorry, forgot to do that before. So
okay.
Yeah. So when we have no focus within, then we have to yeah, we can't make them go all the way to the left or all the way to the right, otherwise they'll overlap with each other. So I think you got that covered right there. And now comes our favorite part, which is the hiding the actual search input inside.
Yes.
If I could find your cursor, see where you're at.
I'm way up at.
What line number? I wish there was an easy way to.
Line 10 is where I was. The hover or the focus within state is at 61.
Ah, okay. All right, so when it's not focused within, which is
I mean, just the regular states.
Or we can make it explicit. If that works. Yeah, because we could say dot 4 transform translate x all the way. And I think we said dot 3 transform translate x negative 100%. Is that going to work?
Nope. You're translating the wrong way.
Yeah. So when in doubt, switch the signs. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh my God, is it working?
It seems to be.
I am so relieved right now.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. So
People think we do our copens like it's no problem. No, it's more like a sigh of relief, like, oh my God, it finally works.
Yes. So I'm gonna remove the other search field, and let's just leave it 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that'll be easier for people to follow along with.
Definitely. Okay. It was a valiant effort.
Rather than search enter, search enter, enter, search enter,
search inception.
Okay. All right. So I'm removing the old. All right. Are you taking off the outlines?
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
So, all right, this works beautifully, except, man, we have this focus outline thing, but let's not worry about that because accessibility. You are? Okay,
yes.
You're going to kill it.
So, right. Now, since we're using focus within, we can set an outline on the parent there. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, because in the parents, you have to, the outline's going to be a bit weird for that. So what you could do is you could actually add a pseudo element and make it the right width, because you have to remember the parent is actually one circle width smaller than it should be, just because of the way it is.
Yeah. Trying to figure out really quick what the.
So if you do a pseudo, then that'll work.
Sure, and we can worry about accessibility later. Right now,
yeah,
I'm just trying to do to fix the scroll bars showing up. Width times 2 is what. Okay. If you take a look at that and focus inside and let me know. Let me know why that one is hanging off the edge.
You mean why it's clipping? Or
yes. Oh, I know. Why is it hanging off the edge there?
Very good question. I'm adding this stick.
Oh, I know. Aha.
Figure it out.
So. Padding.
Sorry, I had padding. Well, it's because we have that search stick inside. And so...
Some M's here.
I like using rems.
I like using rems too.
All right, as long as my search stick shows.
Yes. Where? Okay. The stick might need to be within 2, so that it aligns to the right side as it expands.
Oh, so what I'm doing is, wait, no, you're right. Okay, so let's move stick down to 2. And demoted stick.
Sorry, stick.
Yeah. Do we have an overflow hidden going on in 2?
No.
Nope. Okay. Okay, we don't.
But,
so my
but search is overflow
hidden.
hidden. So okay, yeah. Take a look at that and see. Stick. Oh, should probably be right instead. There we go.
Aha. Oh, yes, my stick. Okay, so I'm going to do transform origin.
Your top.
Well, the transform origin is actually it has to be the center of the circle. So it needs to be, and I think transform origin is horizontal vertical. So I'm going to do transform rotate, and we're going to go counterclockwise, so negative 45 degrees. Okay, that, that's not what I want. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. Could I do like center top negative circle width? Does that work?
It would
no. So
gosh.
Damn it. All right, so what I want to do is, okay, I want the origin to be above this stick, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to do this a crazy way just because I can't figure it out right now.
So
unless you have a way.
Okay, so what we could do is render the is set the stick to be in kind of the X position, and then when we are not focused within, it's down and in the correct position.
Oh,
so we
okay.
can use just translate to offset that. So yeah, let me just negate the transform origin. Go ahead and set this to top. 50%. Right. I was just going to do a there. Sorry, keep going.
Whoa. Sorry, let's do this, see what happens.
50% and then it's translate percent.
Ah, okay, yeah.
What we want.
Sweet. All right, so I'm going to add a before. Right, and then transform, rotate 45 degrees. 90 degrees. Cool, we have our X.
But what happened to our... what happened to the other side of the X?
What do you mean? It's there.
It is not showing up for me.
Oh, it's showing up for me. Refresh your screen.
Yeah. Let me load frame.
It's showing up and it's beautiful.
Oh. Okay. All right, sorry, I'm gonna have to refresh the thing.
Oh,
Don't make any changes. Hold on.
right.
It shouldn't kick you.
Did it kick me?
Okay.
Did it not kick me?
No.
We're good?
You're good.
We're good?
Okay, so yes. All right, I'm seeing that now. That's great. Gosh, it keeps disappearing on me. Are you changing things?
No, not at all. Okay. So I got rid of the background color on stick because the stick is going to be basically a container for our X. And the X is going to be defined by this before and after. And this is going to make it easier to move the before and after based on our focus within states. So, yeah.
I'm just breaking things here. Okay. All right.
So we can say transform, translate, apply, 100%. And so you see what's happening? Like when you...
I'm lost. Where are you? Okay, you're doing...
All right, so I'm in... Whoa.
You and not move these up and just regular old
Listen,
search.
I like being explicit.
Jeez. Okay. All right. So yes, I'm seeing. Now, what we should probably do here is actually move the stick down.
Whoa. Well, so I'm thinking like if it's perfectly centered. So let's have it be. All right.
I'm breaking things.
How do we get back to our state? Everything broken.
Just a moment. Just a moment. Promise. Okay.
All right. If we get back to our hold on. How do we get the stick back to the center here?
Right now you've got the translate Y happening.
Okay. So yeah, there we go. So
there we go.
So here's my thinking. If we keep it there permanently, then all we have to do is translate this before when focus is within.
Hold on. Go back to the animation and see how the what is going to be our after expands out. I mean,
the after
I guess
is in the correct position.
Right. I guess either way will work.
Don't worry. See, by having the container in the same position, that's a lot less moving parts.
Oh no, I know what I was thinking is if we instead do the after as transform, rotate 45 degrees. Maybe it's 45 degrees. Wait, okay, so our after is going to be the one that we want visible. Yeah, hold on, don't change anything right now. Okay, and then okay, let's just try this really quick.
Okay.
Let's focus within. Translate Y 0 or 5 degrees, and
Yeah, see, the problem with this is the math is going to get really trigonometric if you're translating the stick. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Try it.
Translate. And sorry, then's broken. Oh. Okay.
I'm telling you, keep the stick in the same position. Everything will work out great.
I trust you, ish. Well, so my thing is, if we don't, we're gonna have to figure out a way to hide the one that's going the opposite way, unless we move them both together and then they split.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay. So you go ahead and try your way. I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
Something in my math is off currently. So. Oh, I know why it's not actually transitioning. We gotta apply the transition to our before and afters. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now if you do it, the sticks are translating correctly, and I think we might have to actually add a keyframe animation here, but we'll worry about that later. Yeah. So what I was thinking instead was, all right, so this is transform rotate -45 degrees, but we're also going to translate y 150%. And so that's going to get it right at the edge, just where we want it.
Yeah,
and so
I see
this.
And hey, we could actually do the same with the after.
Oh, yeah.
And then
we have to bring them both back.
Yes.
So after. Yep.
Here we go. It's starting to look like an animation.
Cool. Exactly. So also what we could do is add a transition delay to, well, actually no, we don't want to do that.
Right. We would
that's why we might have to add keyframe animations.
Right.
So I mean, we are the keyframers, so
what did you change? Something's broken.
Nothing. I'm adding keyframes.
Okay.
So keyframes, let's do stick after. And then we're just going to say 50%. It's transform rotate 45 degrees. Then to transform rotate -45 degrees. And then over here we do animation stick after, and we have it going on for 3 seconds. Out. Oh, that did not work like I wanted to. Oh, okay. So let's do that. From transform translate y.
You need your rotate in there as well.
Yeah, you're right. So rotate 45 degrees. Okay. Now it should move. Oh wow. It's what's going on? I'm trying to think about.
This is one thing where we can deviate from the animation a little bit by just having the X starting to form as it slides up.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, hey,
you know what? I like that.
The speed that we're working at, when we actually add some proper easing and everything, I don't think that's going to be noticeable at all.
Yeah. How do I? So I just made it a little bit slower, or faster rather.
Yeah.
So that actually looks nice. It's a bit fast right now.
Yeah.
We could change that.
Font family Comic Sans. What are you?
I tried and it didn't work. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay. That is looking pretty nice. Why do we have such strange?
Where do you see alignment issues? In the CSS?
Well, just looking at the outline of the actual parent, we've got a lot of space up top, and I'm not sure why that is.
Let's investigate.
Oh, it's because you added the padding. If we do something like that, I mean that's better, but still not completely clear. Add a border width variable.
Hey, more
Whoa.
variables. I totally copied this from CSS tricks.
What did you do?
Just getting a good placeholder text in there.
Yes. That.
But
Let's do color inherit. Hey.
inherit.
Inherit. And then instead maybe do an opacity.
I don't think that's gonna work.
It's working for me.
Does it? Oh, it works. Okay, just kidding.
Yeah, and that'll just help differentiate between the text they type.
Cool.
Yep.
Boom, we have our search. And unfortunately, the animation did not show how to actually search, so I'm guessing you just press enter or something. But
yeah, and that X is definitely presentational here. That would likely be a button of some sort that would clear the input.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Which
So
we could totally do.
I'm going to work on the outline for accessibility.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to work on the background color because that's going to be the most complex part of this animation. It's just changing that background color. Because in the original animation, the background actually changes to a lighter color, which I've never seen any app do. But it's a nice little touch. So.
Okay. What you could do instead is position T background.
You're right, because we have everything else. That's right.
Yes, and this keeps all
Cool.
of our transition declarations in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now this border width, let's make it a little skinnier, just because I'm noticing in the normal animation, we have a skinny border.
And on stick, it might need some adjustment there to use the variable.
Yeah, I think we could use the border width for that one too. So yeah, the interesting thing about this is, of course, we could have animated with and all that, but it would have been a much jankier animation, and we didn't want to do that. So.
Okay. No. Hmm. Instead, do it as border. There we go. Okay.
Okay, I did something stupid.
I've broken something too.
Great, we're just both breaking things. Yeah, so I tried to make a bouncy easing just because that's what the original animation had. But number one, I'm not a big fan of those bouncy easings, and number two, it sort of breaks the whole illusion of the search being one cohesive unit because you see the gaps a lot easier.
Oh yeah, that's true.
With that, just because of the overflow. So we're not going to do that.
Yes. Oops. Hmm. On.
Oh, I see what you're doing with the focus state. Yeah, so that's an important consideration with the animations is you do want to have, some accessibility while you're doing these animations.
Yeah, and this is a little bit trickier because I'm trying to do it on the one element. If I instead do it search itself, it looks fine, but the alignment is off. Oh. So if you're padding. Go. And then just do opacity 0.
I'm really liking this focus within property. It's like super useful.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand why SAS sometimes requires the curly braces and sometimes doesn't. The hash.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
curly
you know what? It's something that you just get used to, just because some things in SAS are naturally functions, and some of them are not. They're syntax. So, such as calc, for instance. Calc is not a SAS function. It looks very much like a SAS function, but it's syntax. And so when you have things like that, you have to interpolate. instead of just passing them in as arguments.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I think I got it here. A little z-index bump.
Yeah. I don't know if it's showing on your screen, but I have like it's overlapping.
Yeah. So the problem is we've got overflow hidden on the search container, so I can't make it fully.
Can we
outside.
can we add padding to the search container or?
I mean, we
You're
already
making
do.
it on the inside.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Not quite sure. Am I appropriate? Oh.
You're getting pretty funky with those borders. Whenever I want those perfectly round borders, I just do some obscenely large value.
Yeah.
Like 40 rems or something.
Breaking something on me?
Nope, nothing broke. Oh wait, maybe something did. Just kidding. I added a form, and the reason I did was so I could get that reset thing to work. But yeah.
Okay. All right. I've got the focus state kind of working.
Let's forget it.
Is there a way to emulate the same kind of outline as the default browser state? Because all the outline style options do not seem to give kind of that soft edge.
Oh yeah, so I think yeah, there's a special property like to get that glowy outline sort of thing. And I think that we could actually figure it out if we get rid of the outline none that we have going on. So let's do that. Oh yeah, focus outline none. So if we give it the outline again, we could like sort of determine what that is. Having it have the focus state makes it really, really hard to debug.
Something's happening with the opacity.
I mean, I added a little opacity to, unless you mean something else.
Well, the input itself seems to be, maybe that's just the outline. It's over.
Okay, so
yeah, okay.
There's this WebKit focus ring color. That's what it is. So dash WebKit focus ring color. It's a very long property.
Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna work. Because of how we're doing the pseudo element.
I fixed it and it looks beautiful. Yeah. No, but that's basically what you want. You just have to put that at the top level, wherever you're doing your focus thing.
It would under search after line 153.
On 153. Oh, yes. And that's basically what it is. But the problem is that that's not going to give you your rounded.
Yeah, I don't think you can set the outline radius. Mozilla has an outline radius, apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, we probably don't need to worry about it too much for now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, otherwise, I think we have it pretty good.
Yeah. Let me see. We should probably make that blue. What is the blue color of the focus state?
Dash WebKit focus outline color.
Well,
so
no. What do you know what that default color is? Teal. Turquoise.
Yeah, it's a try turquoise.
Assuming I can spell it correctly. Like that. Something like that. Okay. Anyway, we've got our semi-focus state.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're at a good point.
Yeah. Let me go back to the here and then showcase our brand new Keyflections animation, because we are now moving into Keyflections. A quick review of the techniques used to build this animations. If you have any questions, ask us in the chat now, and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed watching us, animate and struggle so far, you can follow and subscribe here on Twitch to get a special shout out, as we've done so today.
Right.
So
yes, and thank you.
Twitch, donation, all that good stuff.
Yes. And so again, as we keyflect, we were building Searchbox by Fabio Oliveira. This beautiful little animation on dribble here. When we broke it down, we could see how the line was moving in and turning into the X as the box expands, and then how it collapses back. And that brings us to what we have built here.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done is created this beautiful little search box that we can type in. And then that allows us to, well, did you actually get the X working there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I could get it working, but
yeah. Here, why don't we selector click.
We could do this without.
Click.
You know what's funny? Of all the things we could do without JavaScript, this is one of those things. Believe it or not, but that's okay. We to describe how you would do it without JavaScript, which we're not going to, just because it's going to break our layout, sort of, unless we really think about it, is you could use the reset button, so just a button with a type of reset, or input with a type of reset, and we would set like an outer form. And so because that input is part of the form, when we click reset, those values are going to go bye-bye, and that's going to be natural. So,
yes.
Doing it this way works fine too.
Yes, and I added some pointer events in there really quick so that it wouldn't clear out when you were focus within, focus without rather. Okay, so let's look at the HTML here. So we have the label class equals search. We can remove this data state because we no longer need that. And we have a label as the primary element here because with this input inside of the label, anytime we click anything in the label, it's going to focus on that input. So we're able to start typing right away without any JavaScript, without any craziness. It just works, which is beautiful. And then inside of our search box, our search element, we have several wrappers here. Would you like to explain a little bit about what's happening with these wrappers?
Yeah, so earlier in the episode, we had a little bit of fun with
A little bit of
these
failure.
wrappers. Yeah, fun failures. But instead, we labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4. So I actually have a very, very crude illustration right here.
You've got an address in there, by the way.
Oh, it's some PO box.
Okay.
Just you can see that. Anyway, so what's happening is the first layer contains the left semicircle. Okay. The second layer, which is a little bit to the right, contains the right semicircle.
Yes, and
then
in this case, those are .1 and .2 as the classes.
Yeah, so then we have 2 layers inside, and the sole purpose of those layers is to do the whole sliding layers technique where we hide the input. And that's it.
So breaking that down here, we've gotten it mostly, I think. Okay, let me go ahead and move all of this per spot so that we can have all of these sliding layers put together. Good. Nice and simple theory. Everything's good. Okay, great. Okay, so the first layer, 1, is translated over 50%, so it's in the center, and then translated back the width of our circle. 2 is transformed negative 100%, so it's off to the edge, but translated back in so that you get that other edge of the circle. If we had the outlines on, you would be able to see that a little bit better, but it's still super confusing. So go back and just watch it a couple times if you are having trouble following along. And 3 is translated back 100% so that it's off this side here. 4 is translated back another 100% so that we end up with all of these layers that when we use the focus within pseudo selector, we can translate them x0, and that reveals everything in a really nice manner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, focus within is a kind of new pseudo selector. So if you were using this on a production site supporting, outside of Chrome and Firefox and Safari, then you would probably want to do a class toggle there with an event listener. That would be helpful. You want to explain what we did with the stick?
Yeah, so stick should really be X, but we keep it at stick. Anyway, so this stick is actually a combination of 2 pseudo elements that we're using. The before and after are the same height and width as the parents, which makes things a little bit easier for animation. And so when we're in the collapse state, those are translated down 150%. And okay, so the reason why it's 150%, by the way, is because when it's at the center, I had it so that the height is the width of the semicircle, and so you have to move it down like the radius times 3 in order to get it right on the outside.
Nice
the math works out.
Nice math.
Yeah. And 150% is a nice round number. And so now when we're fully expanded, we just transform those back to their original spot. And at the same time, we rotate the after so that it forms the X.
So down here, we have translating back up, and that, there we go, simplified even more, so that they are just rotated, so they're the X shape, instead of both rotated the same direction and translated down to the side of the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the background color.
Yeah. So with that,
gotta talk about that.
Using that focus within on the body, which, you know, again, you'd probably want to use a class for this, but it's fun to do CSS only for the most part. Yeah, that's just transitioning the background color whenever the focus is inside of the body. Which, if you had other elements and everything going on, that would be a bit crazy. But for this example, we're just keeping things simple. And for the kind of accessibility support, I added a little after element on the search box. It's kind of got that turquoise color that should feel familiar. And then it's just animating the opacity with a little bit of a delay so that it and after it's visible, so you can kind of tell where your focus is, even though this whole thing is technically showing you where the focus is. But
yeah, I was going to say, the argument could be made is that there is so much going visually here that we're already good on accessibility. We're just going 110% here. But I mean, it's expected to have some sort of outline style.
Yeah.
Especially in a very complicated form.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to give it an easing other than ease in out to see how that feels.
Okay, yeah, that feels nice. I thought you were going to do the bounce back and forth. So
no.
I had problems with doing the bounce back and forth just because of the overflow hidden stuff. Didn't really work out. But that looks nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I dig that. Okay. And the only other thing, well, two other things, the input placeholder fields here we copied from css-tricks.com to get the placeholder text to be the same color as everything else, but we set the opacity on those so that it looks a little bit different from the typed in text. And then the last thing was the only JavaScript that we actually used was to power this X button to actually clear out.
It doesn't even work, so.
Yeah, it's not even working right now.
It's a feature, not a bug. It saves your input.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I think it has to do with my pointer events none. Leave that JavaScript just a moment. That off. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think the problem is you have to be very precise with where you're clicking in it because the width of it is that size. So anyway, that's not working. Yeah, just a simple click listener setting the value of the actual search box to nothing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I think that's it. That turned out surprisingly well, especially based on how much trouble we were having.
I know. So even the simplest animations could seem pretty complex, or could be pretty complex, rather.
unfortunately, there's a lot of struggles you'll encounter like that that seem simple up front, but you get into things actually moving around and it causes a lot of issue. But with a little bit of math and sometimes just starting from scratch, as David was able to do, we'll get you there.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say how many times, like some of my pens, I would work for hours on some part and then just erase my entire pen and start from scratch.
Well, that's always a risk, but it
Yeah.
usually pays off.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I think that's it. Want me to close this out?
Yeah, let's close it out.
All right. You've been watching Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us. You can donate now at streamlabs.com/keyframers. You can follow and subscribe on Twitch at twitch.tv/keyframers and participate in the live streams each week. We love having you in the chat, and we love answering your questions. So please join us live so we can do that. You can like and subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/keyframers. You can also spread the word. A tweet is worth 1,000 chars. And you can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/keyframers.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at Keyframers to get notified when we'll be streaming next. The video of the stream will be available soon, so just keep an eye at the at Keyframers Twitter for the link. And we also do accept submissions for future episodes, so tweet us at Keyframers with any animations you'd like to see made. And of course, you could also present, like questions or challenges or anything that you'd like us to throw on the air and just talk about.
That's right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week.